Welcome back, squad, and today I have a question for you. How does the internet get to your house? Well, don't worry about that because we're not talking about that today. We are going to talk about why Cisco thinks that 10% of the gross domestic product and services of the earth is going to be stored on blockchain. Now, I know what you guys are thinking. You're like, TRG, we have no idea what Cisco is and why it's such a big deal. Well, I'm going to fill you in right now. Cisco Enterprises is the largest company in Ethernet routing and switching on the whole earth. It is massive, okay? Now, they basically create devices to route internet traffic to and from your household. For residential, commercial, everything, you name it, they do it in regards to internet. So they are massive. If you look at this chart here, you can quickly see that Cisco runs 60% of the Ethernet switching market, more than 60% of the enterprise routers, and about 40% of the service provider routers. So they are massive, and they are getting into blockchain. Now, of course, we want to know what they are doing and how they are involving themselves in blockchain. So let's jump into it. 10% of world GDP stored on chain by 2027. Okay, now what does that translate to into value? What is 10% of world GDP? Okay, well, let's look at it. If we were to take 2021's GDP 2 years from now, all right, it would be 98,000 billion. That's so weird to say, but 98,000 billion dollars, okay, and 10% of that would be so it would basically be 10,000 billion. I don't know how to say that. It just sounds so weird, but you get the idea, okay? It is a massive amount of money. And to see that on chain would be mind blowing. This is what we've all been waiting for. The adoption is happening. First, we get IBM jumping into the game. They create processors, computers, and the hardware that you need to get onto the internet, you know? And then you have Cisco, which creates all of the routing devices and everything that you need to connect to the internet and route traffic for ISPs, residentially, commercially, etc. You name it. You know the spiel. Okay? Now, what happens when you get companies like these that are massive superpowers in the technological industry involved in blockchain? Well, others follow suit. It's just like the banks. It happens the same way. And then what happens is they all create their proprietary products to get into the market, and then regulatory dominance is established later on at some point. We know it's coming. They've been working on it. Okay? And then we get standardization protocols implemented to make things work effectively and efficiently. Cisco expects over $9 billion spent annually on blockchain projects by 2021. 83% of executives believe trust is the cornerstone of the digital economy. I don't blame them. Now, $9.7 billion, guys, that is a massive amount of money just on development. Like, this is what we've been looking for. This is really what's going to drive the industry forward. And it's coming in hot. Blockchain-based technologies can build a foundation for trust in the enterprise through the digitization of business processes, tokenization of assets, and codification of complex contracts. It's so true. We've known about this ever since the conception of Bitcoin and Ethereum, and we knew it was coming, and it just takes forever for people to catch on. Blockchain will bring new business value, automate trust, and improve security. So now, what exactly is Cisco doing? I really want to get into that. What are they doing that's so different? Okay, let's get into it. Now, Cisco is developing their own blockchain, okay? And it kind of reminds me of an Ethereum blockchain. So it has orchestration, identity, and policy, smart contracts, distributed ledger, scalable communications layer, and that is what they're going to hook in their Cisco devices into. Now, people in my field aren't even aware of some of the developments that Cisco is coming out with, and I really want to skip to some of those because they're actually incredibly interesting, at least to me. Now, security and analytics. A common misconception is that the distributed nature of blockchains makes them inherently secure. However, without the correct design measures, they can be prone to multiple threats, including distributed denial of service attacks and Sybil attacks, attempted collusion between blockchain nodes, the private blockchain equivalent of a 51% attack. Now, we've seen this in the past. Okay, several projects, platforms have been victim to the 51% attack. Now, Cisco has multiple ways to stop these things from happening. And one of the things that they're going to implement is a blockchain application firewall called a BAF. Right? Now, I've done multiple configurations on Cisco routers, Cisco devices. I'm certified to work on those devices. And I've worked on web application firewalls, everything. You name it, security-wise, I've done a lot of work on those appliances. Now, I've never worked on a blockchain application firewall. Which detects and protects against various attack vectors by inspecting for unusual patterns using analytics. For example, a BAF might detect unusual traffic from an agent that could represent an attempted DDoS attack. Now, this is really, really cool in my eyes, because if they're coming out with multiple devices that actually specifically target malicious behavior on the blockchain, and they can stop, hinder, and alert on those things, then this is like revolutionary. We're well on the way to having something that is manageable, feasible, efficient, and easy to use, while also providing additional security from the current vulnerabilities and exploits that are out there for vulnerable chains. All right, guys, that is what they are doing. That is what they are working on. Now, their cybersecurity field has been exploding at Cisco. That's why they're investing so much money into it. Last year, they put a few $1 billion into cybersecurity, and they gained 6.1% on business returns in regards to cybersecurity. So now they are heavily investing into cybersecurity because they've realized that this is what the market wants. This is what we need to invest in. So, with that said, I will have the links to all of these documents in the description of the video, as per usual. And I definitely wanted to get this out there so you guys could see what was going on. Now, I went to a conference in Calgary, and I had one gentleman which ran a very successful business, and he said that blockchain has no use for supply chains. Companies should just use databases. Now, I really want to go over this point because I don't think that that's true. I think to some extent databases are very successful in doing what they do, but they do have centralized nature, right? And if you compromise that database, you can corrupt the data within it, and even sell it out, do whatever you want to do. But that's the problem, I think, with databases. On top of that, the cost of maintaining a database can be very expensive, especially if you have a network analyst or a database specialist in-house that's constantly working to keep that efficient and working as it should. Now, I get it. If you're using a blockchain, it can have, a lot of costs involved with it. I don't think we're 100% there yet, of course, but I think it will get to the point where it'll be ridiculously efficient, without a doubt. And you have the decentralization at the same time. You don't have to worry about, your database going down, your data getting corrupted, and you no longer have access to it. There are multiple hundreds, and probably thousands of businesses which have had database corruption or databases being hacked and that information sold to the competitors, and the list goes on and on. It is disastrous. But with a decentralized model running your business on the blockchain, you effectively don't have that issue. Everything is decentralized. If one node goes down, not a big deal. You're still secure. You still have your other nodes that are up. How does your information get hacked if it's secured on the blockchain? People have been having a very difficult time with that. On top of that, if you get Cisco involved with a blockchain application firewall, you might be well on your way to a secure, decentralized alternative to a database running your supply chain. Now, with that said, I would like to thank you all for tuning in today on Monday's video. If you enjoyed the content, please leave a like, a subscribe, and I will catch you guys in the next one. As always, stay regular.